Hey everybody, today I'll be talking about Eros, the Greek god of love and desire. We know him more commonly by his Roman name Cupid. He is symbolized by a bow and an arrow. So Eros lit the flame of love within people. Uh, he was depicted with his bow and arrow, and he would fire that into the heart and stir up the emotion within them. Um, Normally, uh, when he was depicted in the classical times, in the classical period, he was depicted as a young man. But as we see, as time goes on, he gets younger and younger until he reaches the form that we see him today. And I'll be talking about that. Um, so this is an Athenian red figure vase. Uh, Lekythos, circa 5th century BCE. It's from the State Hermitage Museum in Russia. And this is how we saw Cupid originally, as a young man, as a mischievous kind of bringer of love. Uh, Attitudes about Eros changed over time. So, as we see here, early representations of him kind of had him as mean, you know? He inflicted emotional wounds onto those struck by his arrows. Love is painful. Um, it's a painful emotion, and it's something even in my own life when I think about love in my past to people I've loved before. It oftentimes is accompanied with pain, and that is how the earlier representations of Eros were. You know, Later representations of Eros, he's getting younger. He's depicted a little bit more innocently. Uh, this is from the 4th century, so we can see 100 years later, the attitudes of people are softening. Um, so he's depicted a little more innocently. He's a little kid with a bow. You know, we still, if we showed this to a modern person, they would still be able to pick this out as, Cupid. Um, but I think more commonly today he's been reduced to, Valentine's Day, silly images, but, stood the test of time. Maybe you've seen him in a cartoon shooting an arrow with a little heart at the end of it. Same guy, same myth. The change in attitude took place really uh, in the Hellenistic period. This is a bronze statue of Eros sleeping. This was in the 3rd or 2nd century BCE from the Met Museum. Um, so, as we saw with the move from the classical kind of period of art, everyone's real up and down, rigidly posed, perfectly postured statues, no weight distribution on their appendages, to the Hellenistic period, where they relax the pose, they go for a more natural thing, they show the weight in the places, as we could see with this statue of him more cheruby. you know his pudgy little legs are resting on this piece of stone with his arm hanging over. This is a very Hellenistic piece of art as compared to the more classical ones that we just saw. um, but this is where the attitude changed. you know this is where their attitude about love changed. And we start to see, a more boyish, kind, you know, attitude towards love. A love that you would maybe remember with a smile rather than a grimace down the line. And that version is, pretty much what we see today in uh, modern depictions of him. Where a lot of people might not even know that he's Eros anymore. They just might know him as Cupid, and any kind of attachment to his Greek origins. Thank you very much.